Hello, and welcome back. As promised, we are here to do phishing emails too. That is right. Overall, this room is not too crazy, not too difficult. We will, though, have to go through a few lines of code and train our eyes to select the information that is of importance. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, task one is pretty much done. So this email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed emails, URL shortening services, and HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand. So it's close to what we've seen in phishing emails 1. If you remember defanging and what that is, URL shortening is uh, in the same family, obviously, because we're talking about spoofing emails and whatnot. But why don't we just excuse me, just talk about this example right here. So if you take a look at this picture right here, you are given service at paypal.com, and here, so that obviously, if you look at the extension of the email right here, you'll see that this email would not be PayPal, right? It's no reply, exm, hwje, blah 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 at sultanbogor.com. So highly suspicious. But first of all, number one, right? This is an unusual email recipient address. So who names their email 00882491 at mail.info.cnsmr, right? Nobody. The sender's details, service at paypal.com, don't match the sender's email address, gibberish at sultanbogor.com. So like I previously mentioned, this is in no way, shape, or form PayPal. Number three here, your receipt for payment to Amazing Stuff. The subject line hints that you made a purchase or a transaction of some sort. If you don't recall this account, then it will grab your attention. The social engineering tactic is to prompt you to interact with the email with haste. So just like it could be an email, it can be a text, it can be a phone call. You have to do the stuff now. There's always a sense of urgency with phishing. Now we can take a look at the email body. So you have the address, Sunday, July 1st, 2020, July 11th, 2021, 9:29 p.m. Transaction ID. Hello, customer. You sent a payment of $120 to Amazing Stuff. And here is a help center email address, which would direct you to the scammer, probably. Not probably, but most definitely. It may take a few moments for this transaction to appear in your account. So here are a few more details of the scammer, basically, right? And then an email address confirmed, ppm x trolling at, looks like what's a Gmail address. And of course, they're going to give you a bogus amount, right? Subtotal, total $120. Let's scan the second half of the same email body, and we see here payment sent to help center at blah blah blah.com. If you didn't make this order, or if you believe an authorized person is attempting to access your account, please click the button below for cancel your order. So the grammar there is wrong. Again, that's another hint, bad grammar. Please click the button below for cancel your order. Again, hint, it's a scam. And they pushed you to click on the cancel the order. Anything else in that body of email? No, not really. We're just given a bogus number there, and it looks like they managed to copy this stuff off PayPal's website. So the email body complements the sender information and the subject line. The email was designed as a legitimate email from PayPal. there aren't any attachments associated with this email, such as we've seen in Phishing Emails 1. The only interactive element in this email is the cancel the order button or link. So let's investigate further by reviewing the raw HTML source for the email. So you see here, what is very, very important to note is this right here, this href. It is a link. is.gd/60 blah blah blah. So what does that mean, right? Because it's not a typically, like, you don't see an extension or anything like .com, .this, .net or anything, right? So this link uses URL shortening services. It is not a good idea to click on a link if you don't know where the link is going to take you. Luckily, there are online tools that we can use to let us know the destination of a shortened URL. So you put in the link, you click expand, but this thing redirects you to google.com. Phishing Emails 3 does indeed explain it in further detail. So for our question here, what phrase does the gibberish sender email start with? So if we go back, so first of all, where would you look? Would you look in a body? No, of course not, right? You wouldn't look in a body for that. You would look in a header. So you see here, service@paypal.com, and right here you see no reply, right? That is your answer. That is your flag. Okay, moving on to task 3. This email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, pixel tracking, and link manipulation. Here are some quick observations about this email sample. So if you look at number 1, 2, and 3, so number 1, the email is tailored to appear that it's sent from a mail distribution center of some sort, right? So contact@bmpro.club. Again, .club, okay, sure, fine. Number 2, the subject line adds to the pretense with a tracking number, of course, to make it seem more legit. This is gibberish. I'm pretty sure if you would put it into a whatever, I don't know, DHL or whatever service you want, I'm pretty sure it's not going to return anything. And then number 3, the link in the email body matches the subject line. So you have the same information in here as in here. So that's pretty good, actually. It so far seems legit, right? So Yahoo blocked the images from automatically loading in this example. So why do you think that is? Well, I don't know. Let's find out, right? So typically one can hover the cursor over a link to see where the link is pointing to, but in this example, that technique won't work because Yahoo disabled links in the email. We can look at the raw source code for the email to find out. So we have the hyperlinks right here. As we can see here, it is a devred.xyz/ bow ton of text, and then tracking.png, right? So we see an image file, tracking.png. PNG, if you don't know, it's an extension for image files, right? Just like JPEG and so on and so forth. So these trackers send information back to the scammer server. There are many reasons for spammers to embed tracking pixels into their spam emails. To read more about this concept, I highly suggest follow the article right there. Now we can understand why Yahoo automatically blocks the images in this email. Many email providers do the same. So, going to the question, the hyperlink, yes, it is indeed a shady looking domain, of course, and they're asking you what is the root domain for each URL. Defang the URL. I am not going to do this because you should already know how to do this. With CyberChef, we did it in Phishing Emails 1. So please select the defang option right there, put in your devred.xyz, and basically what defanging does, it just puts brackets and makes it a harmless link. And with that being said, we move to task 4. Another example, this email sample will highlight the following techniques. Urgency, no surprise there. HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, link manipulation, credential harvesting, poor grammar, and or typos. So let's take a closer look. So if we take a closer look here, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. We see here a from near Barak, near at profitly.com to eForm 2290 support, subject claim number HBD 4436 FSG Realty Holdings LLC. We see a date here. It's a sent date, sent Thursday 7/15/2021, expires July 15th 2021. We see a download link over there. We see a Martin Riviera here from some type of company. Here we see there's a OneDrive link, right? A get document and a preview fax here. That's interesting, right? So the image above showed the victim is redirected to a page created to pass as OneDrive. So basically, you clicked on the download document here and it took you to the page here. So you received, so it will make sense to you, right? So you received this email, you went over everything, and then you clicked, unfortunately, on the download document here, right? So once you click there, this is what shows up in your browser, right? You see the hyperlink for this is app.popt.in/landing/ a bunch of gibberish. But as you can see, it's a OneDrive, right? Who owns OneDrive? It's Google. You have here an option to get the document and preview fax here, right? So notice that the URL is not anything Microsoft related. There are 2 more links for the victim to interact with. The victim has to click either button to obtain the fax that is set to expire. So either this or this. This and this would be the same thing. If you click get document or preview fax, you're in a whole lot of trouble. And as we can see here, Adobe Document Cloud. This is a page that is supposed to pass as Adobe Cloud, right? But if we take a look at the hyperlink here, it's bdkmotorsport.com. So what in the world is going on? And you can see here, right? The interface, everything. Sign in with Outlook, sign in with Office 365, and sign in with other mail. Very important, right? So the victim is directed to yet another website. This one was crafted to resemble Adobe. Again, notice the URL. Correct. It does not look like it's related to Adobe. Notice the page title in the tab is called SharePoint Online, which is a Microsoft product. There are a couple of grammatical errors as well. The victim has the option to sign in with the email provider of their choice, right? So technically, you're given the options, right, to make it look legit. Okay. So our victim chose to log in with Outlook per the instructions. To read the document, please enter with the valid email credentials that this file was sent to. The email was viewed in Outlook. So they clicked in login with Outlook, and it says here invalid credentials, right, with a capital V for whatever reason. And they put in an email address and a password. So in this example, we can tell that fake credentials were entered, but even if the victim would have entered valid credentials, the error message would have been the same. So basically, if in this field right here, if the email address would be, I don't know, Christian at gmail.com and the password 123, it would still give you the error message, but your credentials were harvested by the attacker, aka everything that you put in these two boxes will get sent to the attacker, right? So um, the email sample was obtained from AnyRun, which is an also website. Super cool. Uh, so if you wish to interact with the email, you can refer to the link below. I highly suggest you go through this because it's super awesome, super educational, and you're gonna learn a lot of things. And we're gonna use it in this room and in further rooms as well. Like probably think phishing emails 3 and 4 are making use of AnyRun as well. So uh, the email sample used the names of a few major companies, their products, and logos, such as OneDrive and Adobe. What other company name was used in this phishing email? So, if you look at a hint, it's 4.6 megabytes. So, we're going to go to this link here. Fantastic. Is it on? So, yep, it did load right here. So, in order to find our flag, we're guided to look into what other company they're impersonating, right? So, you can find the flag here too. Hint, hint, it is right here in plain view. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it says a contact uses Citrix files to share documents securely. This can take you a long time to discover this. It's hidden in plain sight, and you could also see it right here. Hopefully, oh, that just made it bigger. Okay, there we go. A contact uses Citrix files to share documents securely. It was hidden in plain sight, and it did take me a little bit of time to actually go through it because it's very deceiving. You see OneDrive, you see Adobe Document Cloud, you see Outlook, and then they're asking you what other company, and you go like, well, there's no other company, but there is. It's Citrix, right? And with this interface here, it's very cool. It analyzes everything. So from like the HTTP traffic, you see here, uh, um, the windows and what exactly happened. You also have, you can get a sample or a test report. So if you click on the test report, uh, perfect. You pretty much get a complete snapshot of everything that happened. So verdict, malicious activity, OS, tags, phishing. You have the hashes here, which are going to be very important in the next few rooms. We're going to ask you what is the SHA-256 of the file, and you would have to copy this as your flag. You go down and you see all the processes that were exploited, which is a botan. They give you screenshots. They give you a behavior graph. What else? Everything that got modified. So this malware started to modify files in the HKey current user um, folders, and it's a botan of pages, right? You look here at the type of files that were affected as well. Network activity, HTTP request, in case you want to. At some point, we will be asked what is the IP, right? The originating IP of the email. Connections. We see here a few suspicious connections. Malicious, right here. High winds, very important. on IP 69.16.175.10 on port 443. We find another malicious connection here associated with Akamai Technologies. Very important. You're going to be asked about this a little bit later. Few DNS requests. Nothing there. Yeah, BDK Motorsport. I was wondering about that. Of course, it's going to say unknown. And yeah, that's about it. But I highly suggest you to go in depth and take your time and analyze. It's a really cool example. So moving on, I think that was the one flag that we needed. Task 5. Oh, okay. So this email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email, urgency, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, poor grammar and or typos, and attachments. Well, maybe leave that open. I don't know if we're going to need that later. So here are some quick observations about this email sample. This email is made to appear that it's from Netflix billing, but the sender address is z99 at musakombi.online. Right here, right? Oh, perfect. Okay, so in the number 2 field here, there's an element of urgency, right? Netflix ID suspended. Oh my God, you can't watch movies. Now you got to click here, right? And it also says that your account is on hold, of course, right? Notice the different misspellings of the word Netflix. This is really cool, actually. It does say, where is it? It's Netflix with an L, right? So this is the correct name. This is not the correct name for whatever reason. Typically, you'll see this technique when it comes to typo squatting, but that wasn't the case here. You can see it here. Yep, misspelled. I'm not sure if you can see that there. So moving on, please update your payment details. Hello, customer. We're having some trouble with your current billing information. Please open the PDF to update your account. Need help? Blah, blah, blah. All right. So apparently you need to open a PDF to update your account, which is extremely awkward. Why would you open a PDF to update your account? But sure. Furthermore, they actually provide you with a scammer phone number too, right? So call 007-803-321-2130. So another method to safeguard against this type of scammer is to just Google, right? Google Netflix's real customer service phone number and don't call this particular number. And what do you know? You do have an attachment. Payment. Awesome. Definitely malicious, right? We'll see. So they're talking about the phone number. Yes, of course. Okay, so let's say that you did decide to open the PDF. It says update payment account spelled wrong. It has AC space count. If you did not ask to reset your password, you might want to review your recent account access for any unusual activity. Of course. Blah, 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 your friends at Netflix. The attachment contains an embedded link, updated update payment account, and we'll look at this email in closer detail in the upcoming Phishing 3 room. So, what should users do if they receive a suspicious email or text message claiming to be from Netflix? So what do you think based on what have I told you so far? If you receive an email from Netflix, what would you do? Right? Would you click on the PDF here and go to the PDF and update payment account and resend account access and click on all these hyperlinks? No, you would forward the message to phishing@netflix.com. And this flag was right here. consumeraffairs.com/police warned a new Netflix email, and we're gonna open that real quick. And users who receive a suspicious email or a text message claiming to be from Netflix are advised to forward the message to excuse me. So that was your flag right there. And also, like I previously mentioned, you can also check the phone numbers if you're not sure, if you're really not sure, if it's a very well structured phishing email. And most importantly, never click on attachments that you're not sure of. Okay, moving on to task number 6. This email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, recipient is BCC'd, urgency, poor grammar or typos, and attachments. So nothing really new that we haven't seen before. So let's look at this one right here. So this email seems to be from Apple support, right? But it does say here, do not reply, store mail sent, mo PLZ, whatever. All right, so obviously it's not from Apple support. Somebody is BCC'd, right? So it wasn't directly sent into the victim inbox, but it was BCC'd, which is a blind carbon copy. Funnily enough, it does say, it does contain an element of urgency, because otherwise, it wouldn't be a phishing email. Action required: your recent purchase double jackpot slots Las Vegas on the App Store, blah blah blah, right? And it's also made to seem like it's a reply, right? Like reply, So there are a few noticeable typos in both the sender and recipient address. Oh yeah, payment instead of payment. Oh yeah, that's right. No reply dot payment. This particular email doesn't necessarily have an email body. It's totally blank. Oh, that's even better. They didn't even put enough work to draft a body. So the email simply contains an attachment, double jack, blah blah blah, right? So the file extension may not be familiar to you. It is a dot file. A dot file is a page layout template associated with Microsoft Word. So this is what that attachment would look like, right? So the above image shows what is contained within the attachment. You can see that the file contains a large image to resemble an App Store receipt. Notice that the link contains certain keywords related to Apple, apps, and iOS. So if we take a look here, you see that's a redirect embedded in there. And yes, indeed, they put the Apple logo there. It does say receipt, date, blah blah blah. So they did take the effort in to slap a logo and make it somehow acceptable, right? So what does BCC mean? Well, we just specified it's blind carbon copy. What technique was used to persuade the victim to not ignore the email and act swiftly? Well, obviously it was the urgency, right? Just like in every other phishing email. Moving on. DHL Express Courier Shipping Notice. So in this email sample, we will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, and attachments. Here are some quick observations about this email. So let's take a quick look at it. The sender's email does not match the company that is being impersonated, which in this case it's DHL. It does say DHL Express, but if you look, it's info at glamcarcompany.de. Denmark, right? Is DE Denmark? Oh no, it's Deutschland. I was wrong. So, you can see here the subject line. It is DHL Express Courier Shipping Notice, blah, blah, blah. And what do we have? 3. Oh, look at that. We do have a body. So look at the source code for the email. The link to view the email as a web page doesn't contain an actual destination URL. Okay, there it is, but it doesn't contain the URL, funnily enough. So the only element the victim can interact with in this email is the email attachment. Again, but in this case, it's an Excel document. What do you know? Right here, CBJ 2006 200, blah blah blah, right? And that's pretty much it. So the image below shows what is contained within the attachment. So if you would open this attachment, this is what you will get. 2. Menon and Menon Limited. I don't know what that is. Translate language, kindly enable editing above. Huh. Funny. Appraisal instead of appraisal, I guess. And some characters here that I don't know what they mean. So the attachment runs a payload that throws in an error. Oh no. Well, what do you know? After executing the Excel file, right, it does give you an MS-DOS subsystem error. Choose close to terminate the application. Well, okay, great. And yes, we will look at this email attachment in closer detail in a Phishing Broom 3. But what is the name of the executable that the Excel attachment attempts to run? So if you look right here, right, hope that's big enough for you. So you have the path here, right? See users admin app data roaming regasms.exe, right? What a awesome name. regasms.exe. This is the name the executable that the Excel attachment attempts to run. So in conclusion, we looked at a bolt-on of phishing examples, some from Netflix, some from DHL, not from Netflix and DHL, to resemble, right? Netflix, DHL, and others. We've seen redirect pages. We've seen Microsoft impersonations with Outlook. What to take away from this room is to basically understand how these emails work. Like one constant in all these emails was the sense of urgency. So update now, do this, click here, here's your invoice, your account is past due, your account was suspended, stuff like that. There's always an element of urgency which you should be suspicious about. Never click any attachment. Look in the subject line. Look at the sender's email address as well, because it could say, like we saw here, it could say DHL Express, but then it will not match DHL Express. It would be a totally different email, or it would be a typo squatted email, which means it wouldn't be DHL Express, it would be DHO Express, for example, and it will be DHO Express at gmail.com. Never mind you, DHL would never use a Gmail account, but still, to some people, it still may seem similar enough that they'll actually get scammed or phished, right? They also recommend you to visit these resources here, but all in all, that was it, guys. That was it. This is phishing emails room number 2. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.